Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Jeff's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make some Baiocchi. These are an Italian biscuit and they're a sandwich biscuit, so you have two layers with a filling. Now, from what I can see, the filling is usually a chocolate hazelnut spread like Nutella, but I'm going to use a slightly different filling. So they're a plain biscuit with this filling, and the filling I'm going to do is going to be cocoa powder based, and that will sandwich them together, but I want them to hold together rather better than they would with Nutella, I think. And so it's quite straightforward, and I'll do the recipe for the biscuits or the cookies first. And for that I have 350 grams, which is 3 cups minus 2 tablespoons of pastry flour. You could use plain flour, that's fine. I have 50 grams, which is of corn flour, which is 5 tablespoons. I have 120 grams, which is 1 cup of icing sugar. I have 1 medium egg, which would be large in the USA, and I have 150 grams, which is just under 11 tablespoons of butter, and I have 80 grams of chopped hazelnuts, and that's about 3/4 of a cup, so 80 grams of hazelnuts, which you chop roughly. And the first thing I want to do is to make those hazelnuts even smaller, into as fine a powder as I can. And so to do that, I'm going to put them into my immersion blender with the icing sugar, and this is the reason for using icing sugar rather than granulated or caster sugar. And I'm going to blitz those until they're a finer powder. That looks much better. So I'm going to tip that out into a bowl. And I'm going to add into that the corn flour and the pastry or plain flour. And then I'm just going to use a whisk to get those mixed together a little bit. This is going to give the biscuits a nice hazelnutty flavour. So with that like that, what I'm going to do next is to create a dough. Now you could do this in a stand mixer, or you could do it by hand, but I'm going to use my hand mixer. And I'm going to put the egg and the softened butter into the flour mixture, and I'm going to mix it together until it comes together into a dough. I'll start on slow. And I've tested this and it's beginning to clump together, so what I'm going to do is use my hand and just knead that into a dough. So what I'm going to do is put that onto some plastic wrap. And I'm going to form that into a sort of disc. And then I'm going to chill that in the fridge for an hour, and in an hour's time I'll come back and we'll roll it out and make our cookie shapes, and then we'll go on to do the filling as well. I let the dough chill for about an hour, and I've taken half of it out of the fridge, and I'm going to roll that out to a thickness of about 5mm, which is just under a quarter of an inch. And as you can see, there's little bits of hazelnut visible. And I have my surface lightly floured so that it doesn't stick, and I'm going to put a bit more flour on. And it doesn't matter if this breaks apart, because you just push it back together again. And with that rolled out like that, I'm going to cut out rounds. And I'm using a 5cm cookie cutter here, which is quite small. And then what I'm going to do is take a straw and the top of a spice jar, and I'm going to press the spice jar top down in each cookie to make a ring. For half of them this is, because these are going to be the top. And with the straw, I'm then going to take out five pieces of dough for each one, like that. And then I'm going to transfer the rolled out cookies onto a baking tray, which I've lined with silicone mat. Parchment paper would be fine. With the cookie dough rolled out, now that half rolled out into 30 rounds, so I have 15 sandwich cookies here and enough for another 15 in the fridge. I'm going to bake these in the oven. Now I have my oven preheating at 180 Celsius, 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake these for 10 minutes and then take them out and let them cool down. And while the cookies are baking, I'm going to make the filling. And for my filling, I have 180 grams, 1.5 cups of icing sugar, 100 grams, which is just about 7 tablespoons of softened butter. I have 25 grams, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And I've actually just taken about 2 tablespoons of Nutella, which will help to keep the mixture soft, I think, and some milk that I will need to soften the liquid as well. So I'm going to put the icing sugar in to the butter, and I'm just going to use a spatula to start off with, just to get that mixed a little bit, so that when I use my hand mixer the icing sugar doesn't go absolutely everywhere. And then with that slightly mixed, I'm going to mix it together with the hand mixer. And then I'm going to add in the cocoa powder as well. And about a teaspoon of milk. And then I'm going to add in my Nutella. So that's the mixture mixed together, and it's soft enough so that it should spread quite nicely and push up a little bit into the holes of the cookie. So I'll be back when the cookies have cooled down and we're ready to put the filling in between them. The first batch of cookies has baked and they've cooled down, and this is what they look like as they are. And I've turned the bases upside down, and we're going to put the filling on and then top it with the cookie. Now the bases are actually just a little bit smaller than the top, because as I press down on the top to make the ring, it spread them a bit, but that's fine. So just a little bit bigger, it doesn't matter. So what I'll do is I'm going to take some of our mixture and put it onto the cookie. And then I'm going to take one of the tops and press that down like that. If I press hard enough, hopefully some of the mixture will start to come up through the cookie. And I'll do all of these and then I'll show you what they look like. I've completed the filling of the half of the batch that I've made so far. Sorry, of the batch I've made so far. I have another half to do. And this is what they look like. Now, the filling is still a little bit soft, but it will firm up as the butter solidifies again. So I'll have a taste of one. That does taste very good. The pastry or the biscuit itself is lovely, and you've got that flavour of hazelnut. And if you fill this with the traditional filling, which I think is Nutella or chocolate hazelnut spread, you'll get an even more hazelnutty flavour. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted mine to set hard, rather like in a bourbon biscuit, which these will do as the butter firms up. So they've turned out very well. They're a bit fiddly to make, but it's worth the effort, I think. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below the video and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to the recipe, and I'll put a link to it below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.